Hello, people of Earth. I am live, unless you're watching the recorded version. Then you're not. It's not live. But who cares, right? Who cares? Steve, just don't do a 2-hour-long live video. Juan Avalos is first to be in here. Rick Jones, good morning. PaleriderTV, I hate kettle chips. Hey, what's up? Trucker Steve in PA. Hey. John Cater's in the house. So, now hopefully I don't have stream issues as it was told to me when I started this live feed, but you know, I just got done watching a couple of YouTube videos. Morning, subscribed the other day. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Sean. Is it Sean or Sean? I'm gonna call you Sean until you say otherwise. But I appreciate the kind comments, sir. My knowledge is limited. All I know is what I've been through. Sean, okay, cool deal. My knowledge is limited. I learn from watching others, and I learn from the experiences of when I struggled. Which reminds me, one of the videos that I watched this morning, I watched PaleriderTV's video, and he released one this morning. And I thought that was cool. Those bridges in Louisiana, man, they'll freak you out if you're not a bridge person. And then I watched Ragtube Productions. I watched his Travel Loco series. I watched the most recent 2 videos he did about Travel Loco and his experience there. And that's one of the things that we all learn from YouTube is other people's experiences. And Ike's putting an honest picture out there of how and why, and of why he chose to do what he did over at Travel Loco. And that kind of honesty, I think, is what YouTube needs. That's what I try to do. I try to be honest with you guys. I've never told about any of this. I never like, hey, this is great to anybody at YouTube, to my viewers, when I don't believe it. PaleriderTV asked, did I see Jay Cannell's One Chip Challenge? No, that's on the list, because I'm going to be here at this dock for a while. You missed PaleRider's video, Ace? Yeah, he released one at 5 a.m. this morning, then he released one, I think, yesterday or the day before at 5 a.m. But, for those of you who are thinking about going to a company like Travel Loco, know your costs. Or any company, know your costs of going in, and but you got to think of the hidden costs too. One of the processes that you have to go through, even as a company driver, is what is the worst case scenario? In other words, if you're being paid 40 cents a mile at a company somewhere, think about, okay, if can my family survive, or can my bills survive if I make only 2,000 miles a week, something like that. That's what you got to look at. Always look at your worst case scenario. And that spot market, man, the money can be great, but there's a lot of people. I've heard through the grapevine, I've heard through different sources that I will not reveal that are high up in the Snyder chain, that a lot of the Snyder ICs that have gone to Landstar and Traveloco are coming back a little bit. Because that spot market, that's a tough beast. You know, and that was one of the reasons why I come over here. Yeah, I might not make as much during the peak times of the spot market season, but you know what? I've got consistent money. I had a $700 repair, you know, last week, and I wasn't even worried about it. You know, that's a good feeling. To have your truck in the shop and you're not worried about the costs. That that makes this so much easier. Clyde says 30 degrees in Georgia. WTF morning, Snorlord. What's up? Where are you at? Oh, Georgia. Oh, Clyde, it's chilly here too. I think it was like 33 degrees when I got up. Truck didn't want to start almost. It was like, you know. What I should have done is I should have came out and started the APU up about an hour before I was getting rolling. But I had to roll early this morning because I had a 7 a.m. appointment. But I know that these guys will start me at 6 if I'm here. So, in the place that I'm at, which I will not reveal, the place where I'm at, all this stuff is literally just in little boxes. It's a big game of Tetris. It takes 2 or 3 days to load these trucks for these stores. And for example, when I opened the doors up, I had to hand the guy a case of like seasoned salt because I mean that's how loose everything is, and so it takes 3 or 4 hours. So I thought I would do a live feed since I didn't do one this weekend. I didn't do my usual Saturday night or Sunday night live, and I wanted to catch up on all the YouTube stuff because you know why? Because I'm going home after this. I'm going home for several days because I hate driving this week. The week of Thanksgiving is always a pain. The loads are always weird. There's always weird issues like load cancellations and the trailer pool, you know, and even when I wasn't at Snyder, you know, the Landstar days were the worst as far as, you know, dealing with the holidays. But even as a company guy, I think there's been 2 Thanksgivings where I've worked since I've been a driver. But the worst part about this week is not all that, but the driving, because you have a lot more people on the interstate and a lot of them just don't know what they're doing. So it becomes a little bit more dangerous out here. Juan says, being a local driver now and sleeping at home every night, I sure don't miss walking to the truck stop when I have to pinch a loaf. My trucking life, Ace 27 in the Keystone. Clyde says, yep, I'll be home tomorrow. I'll leave back out Saturday. Now, with that being said, I'm leaving out Friday. I've got a load. That's the beauty, is I'll have a good week this week. And then I'm going to take the rest of today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. You know, basically 4 days. I can leave out at my leisure on Friday, and I'm still going to gross about $1,500 before Monday. So, you got to love that. You got to love that. So, but, you know, we're actually holding Thanksgiving at our house this year for the family. So, I wanted to be home for that. And, you know, we're not going all out extravagant. We're just kind of, I like to keep things simple. So, went to Sam's Club, picked out 2 meats, and then we've gotten the rest. And then it's a stress-free situation. PaleriderTV says, I was home for a week, so I'm working through Thanksgiving. Yeah, I feel you there. And then I've got a bunch of appointments in December, so I'll take some time off for that. Let's see, look at my calendar here. Yeah, I got to be careful where I book myself for next week, because I need to be in by the 4th. So I've got doc's appointments. And I need to get started rolling on my my hazmat recertification. Part of me was like, you know, I don't do hazmat over here at Schneider. It doesn't pay any extra, so why do it? Should I keep it up? And I think I am, because my 2 Plan Bs, I've got 2 different Plan Bs that require that I would need my hazmat. If I ever want to go with the Landstar, I would need my hazmat. And if I ever had to go back to company at Transland, I would need my hazmat, so I might as well keep it. So Clyde says, yeah, it's nice not to worry as much. Even with the payment I have, it's pretty easy. Clyde brings up a good point. Clyde is a Schneider Finance driver. You're doing all right, Clyde, right? Did you think my video about hanging in there was a bad video because I'm not a Schneider Finance guy? Clyde says, PaleRider, if you're around the Asheville, North Carolina or East Tennessee, you're welcome to eat turkey with us. That's very nice of you, Clyde. I've offered PaleRider the same extension if he is in my area, which he's been known to do because his company delivers right down the road from me on many occasions. I've delivered there myself. So, you didn't think it was bad? Okay, well, thank you, Clyde. So like I said, anybody wants to argue about my numbers, my Peterbilt was just as expensive as a Schneider Finance truck. The big difference with that truck was that, well, it had a lot of issues, so it didn't have the reliability of having a new truck. So, yeah, when trucks hit about 500,000 miles, you start going through the small components, the small parts. Rubber and plastic wears out, and you know, you're always chasing air leaks. You know, you fix one thing and, you know, another pops up. Problems are never solved, they're just rearranged. That's a quote from a Suicidal Tendency song. How will I laugh tomorrow? Problems never solved, just rearranged. I'm not gonna sing for you. So anyways, I enjoyed Ike's Traveloco series so far. I have not seen Cannell's chip video. That's on my list to watch. I saw the video announcing that he was doing the chip video. $33 for a chip, man. That's crazy. There wasn't a damn thing wrong with that video, Snorlord, says Juan. All you did was give words of encouragement. Don't let whoever took it wrong mess with you. I appreciate that, Juan. I think sometimes, you know, I told you guys about a driver, Julio. He was a Schneider guy that recognized me at the Dallas yard last week, and he ran up to me just enthusiastically, like, kind of like, you know, like, whoa, you know, because he's like, Snorlord, you know, and he was so afraid to tell me that he was concerned about my health, because I think that sometimes when you want to be encouraging, you don't want it to backfire. You don't want it to make it look like you're preaching or you're judging. I guess that's the word. Or condescending. Speaking of condescending, the other notifications, I don't know about you guys, but I keep up on the notifications while I'm at home, but I don't tend to watch a lot of the videos until I'm on the road. No, I don't watch them while driving, just, you know, when I'm at the truck stops, when I'm at the docks, when I'm eating dinner, you know, those type of situations. And I don't know what was going on between SoCal and Truckers Coach, but there was some argument going on, and all the videos have been deleted. So, but judging by the titles, it looked like it got pretty heated. And it's like, sometimes you wonder, it's like, man, what did I miss? So I don't know what happened there, but you know, the words racism and womenizing was used, and you know, I don't know, man. It's, you know, in Ike's video, he's talked about how nasty people got in the comments and how that affected his family. I think that goes by with that whole positive energy thing. It's all just digital noise, and it's like, why would you want to contribute to that? You know, Coach did a video talking about how he wasn't going to get involved in the drama anymore because his wife asked him not to. His wife asked him, hey, you know what, you're better than this. And you know, and I thought that was a cool thing. I thought that was a cool, positive move. You know, but then, you know, judging by the titles that I see, you know, because I didn't get to catch the live feeds and they were deleted, you know, maybe that didn't happen. So it's kind of, that's the kind of negativity that brings these YouTube channels down sometimes, I think. And if you're doing videos, if you're a content creator in YouTube, and you're always in a battle with somebody, and it's a different person every month, why is that? Take a good look at yourself. Are you representing your brand, your company, your content creation channel, whatever? You know, unless that's your thing. You know, Nesbitt, you know, that was his thing. That was what, you know, he said, this is what my channel is about. It's about trolling all these guys. But if you want to be an informative channel, if you want to be an entertaining channel, and you're constantly in battles, and you constantly have to look over your shoulder when you're at truck stops, and you constantly have to record conversations, or you know, when I was on Zello before it turned to crap, there was a lot of paranoia. You know, you have to show yourself. You can't just sit there and listen. You can't just sit there and lurk, because that made everybody paranoid that you were just recording the conversations for later use, which is understandable. But why would you want to live like that? Why would you want to constantly having to read comments that are so hateful? Because you know what? People suck. People are hateful. You know, I get at least 4 or 5 thumbs down for each of my videos. I don't know why. I know I'm not going to be the most well-liked person, and I know that maybe sometimes I rub people the wrong way, or maybe it's because I support or I don't denounce certain channels, or maybe it's because I'm doing hour-long live feeds now, like I used to make fun of. So, you know, these are the thoughts that are running through my morning, you know, as I'm sitting here waiting to be unloaded. It's a good morning. I got a good cup of coffee, despite the fact it's from McDonald's. So, but ouch. Did you hear my elbow pop? Man, I'm getting old. So let's go over here. Trucker Steve, I unsubbed after last night's drama with TC. Good deal. Jeffrey's name came up. See, why does Jeffrey get him? Why is Jeffrey doesn't get involved in this? Jeffrey's kind of like me. He's kind of just even keeled. He tries to get along with everybody, and he has brought peace. You know, he was the reason why Coach went over to Travel Local in the first place. He kind of helped him see the light of what the numbers were. But for some reason, it's like me. He gets associated with certain people, and then he gets dragged down. So you unsubbed after Jeff got brought up. Motor T says that Trucker Steve. So where did Jeff's name get brought up? Was it in Coach's feed? Daniel Adami. Good morning, Snowlord. My Truck Alive 8 says I haven't watched Coach since Toenail Gate. Ed Pierce agree. Thank you. Jeff is like Switzerland. He's neutral. Right. That's what I try to be. Guys, if you, I've popped up in Ike's, Will's, Matt's, Jay Cannell's, Thor's. I've you know, I pop up in all their feeds because, you know, I'm subscribed to them. I don't agree with everything everybody does, but you can't please everyone, as Ace just said. Motor T says, SoCal said he was on the phone with Jeff talking about TC stealing their content. TC badmouth and Jeffrey says Jeffrey talks about people behind their back. Trucker Steve, PA. Let me tell you guys about that. Let's talk about that for a second. Motor T says, and then TC considered them to be the phone gang. So stupid occasionally. It's so stupid, especially considering all the other words said. Big Rich, are you talking about me? Not yet, Big Rich. Here's the thing. I had a mutual friend that had a misunderstanding with Jeff. And in a private text conversation, I could see how quickly it went south. Not on Jeff's part, but on this other person's part. And it really kind of struck me. You know, I've been friends with Jeff for 2 years now, 2.5 years now. And I believe that a lot of the flack that Trucker's Coach gets is brought on by himself. And if he wants to go against somebody like Jeffrey Like, who could easily help his business if he was on Jeff's good side, that would be a smart move. You know, Jeff's knowledge could have helped Coach at Travel Loco, and Jeff's knowledge could help him while he's got his own authority. SoCal does things a little different. He made a comment, I believe, that might have been directed towards me on one of Jeff's feeds about my $1.20 a mile. Probably because of my numbers video of when I showed you guys I was averaging about $1.27 a mile. Maybe, I don't know, he might have been talking about somebody else. And it wasn't really derogatory. He was just, you know, he was like, hey, he was kind of bringing up the fact that maybe whoever's making $1.20 a mile should be making more with Jeff's knowledge at his disposal, which is true. I could be making more, and I'm making steps to probably try to make more. But, you know, in that feed, I was quick to say, you know what? The next 2 loads, I'm averaging $2 a mile. That's the average. But see, that's why a lot of people don't get involved in the numbers game, because, you know, numbers are just, you know, a reflection of what you want to do or what you can do. That doesn't even make sense. Big Rich says, all that mess last night was absolutely absurd. Trucker Steven PA says, when you create stupid content and drama, yes, people will talk about you with others. That's the thing. That's where I go back to saying that coach probably brought it on himself. You know, Jeff and I talk a lot, and it's not always about numbers. It's not always about business. You know, we've talked politics. We've talked religion a little bit. We've talked, you know, and I don't do that with everybody. If I've ever had a phone conversation with you and we're at the level of politics and religion, then we're pretty good friends. Because I don't just talk about that to anybody. And, you know, Jeff and I have a pretty decent friendship, you know, and if he's ever said anything bad about anybody, it's people that have brought it on themselves. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, and that's the thing though. He doesn't focus on these people. He doesn't call me up and say, man, you know, coach did this, that, the other, blah, blah. You know, we don't do that. You know, we joke about some of the absurdity that happens with some of these channels. You know, he called me up to tell me about Matt's monster fueled tirade against Ike, you know, on that one live feed. But, you know, but as far as like he said, she said stuff, man, it's interesting to me that people just get that involved in it. And I could tell just by the titles of the absurdity of what was going on last night. And, you know, it's a shame that, you know, if you, okay. How can I put this without looking like a total a-hole? Let's look at man, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to word this correctly. Because people get offended so easily. Just do it, Big Rich. I'm trying. Don't pressure me. If you remember, there were two factions having a feud a couple months ago. Kevin Rutherford and Trucker's Coach. Okay. Kevin Rutherford gives out information. The purpose of his channel is to help drivers make informed business decisions. Okay? Trucker's Coach claims to do the same thing. Okay? But when the squabbling got pretty big between the two, that kind of negates a lot of the information that they're putting out there. If your brand, whether it be Rutherford or Coach, is about making informed business decisions, and then you get into a feud that detracts from that original purpose, then I think it makes the brand look bad. When you bring negative energy into the brand, I think it makes it look bad. And that is beyond my comprehension of why you would want to do that. If your spouse is saying, hey, don't get involved in this, and your fans, your subscribers, the people that are actually watching your videos also say, hey, you're above this, don't get involved in this, why would you continue to do so? I understand defending yourself, but see, when you have 4 or 5 or 6,000 subscribers, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to defend yourself if every little comment gets to you. You have to have a thick skin. For those of you that are doing a new YouTube channel, or you're under 500 subscribers, let it be known that you have to have a thick skin to do this. You have to have a thick skin to put yourself out there in the world. Whether you're doing creative videos, trucking videos, videos about anything, you get a lot of hate. You know, a band puts out music. They put music videos out. And you got like 5,000 likes and 1,000 dislikes. And if you dwell on all the dislikes, then you're going to be a very miserable person. If you have 10,000 views and you have 50 likes and that's all you, or 50 dislikes, and that's all you can think of, you're going to be miserable, because you should focus on the positive. People will dislike a video just because. Rick Jones says, if you talk bad about someone, you're just trying to bring them down to your level. Right. And that's why I left Zello. Because Zello was nothing but, you know, as Ike put it in his most recent video about Traveloco, it became a get on the leg, or fanboy, or hater. And that's the thing. I was mistrusted. I went from being a moderator to being mistrusted on Will's channel, the one trucking YouTubers, whatever it was called. Why? Because I was associated with Jeffrey Like. And there is a guy in there that does not like Jeffrey Like. Absolutely despises. And that's what Zello was, just this ball of negativity. That's why I've never gone back to it. It's still on my tablet. But for the most part, there was a couple of times I was in the channel that Ike and I talked about metal. We talked about food. You know, and those were the good aspects of Zello. Every now and then we talked about training. We talked about training, since I used to be a trainer, to a couple other guys in that channel. And it was a cool conversation. But for the most part, it's like a talking Facebook page is all it was. So yeah, Zello was just stupid. Let's go to some comments here. Bandit says, nice, enjoy it. Big Rich says, I do have to agree with Jason on one thing. You don't bring someone's family into the mix of childish drama. Big Rich. I agree with that. My brand is Big Rich Brain. There you go, Big Rich. Trucker, Music Trucker, aka Bandit, says, my brand is to do the impossible. There you go. Let's go play in Atlanta. Y'all have a good turkey day. Clyde, be safe there, brother. Be safe. TJ Jones in the house. Good morning, sir. TJ Jones, Bull of the Woods. One of my trusted moderators. Groundhog says Zello was dumb. I agree. Zello was a talking, you know, it's like, you know what's funny? You know, you got these people like, I don't go on the CB radio, I don't run with the CB because of the negativity, because of the crap. But yet they're on Zello or they're on Facebook doing the same damn thing. It's like, I avoid all the negativity by not having my CB radio on, but then they're on Facebook, you know, MFing everybody for the E-Log thing. You know, it's really hypocritical. Truckin' Life A says, I know I'm going to have to make an Eating Crow video later because I thought Angus died when it was Malcolm. I heard about that, Ace. Someone called me and goes, hey, did you hear about Angus Young? I'm like, no. Did he die too? And someone said, no, it was, you know, Truckin' Life Ace said it was Angus. I'm like, no, it was Malcolm. But he probably got it mixed up. You know, it's easy to do. But yeah, it's a sad day to rock. Yeah, Mel Tillis died yesterday, and then David Cassidy died. So my sister was a huge Cassidy fan back in the 70s. So, but we knew that was going to happen with Malcolm Young because, you know, he had to leave the band because of dementia. You know, old age finally caught up. You know, and that's the thing, man. If you're in your 30s and 40s, there's a lot of people that we grew up with in the public eye that are going to be passing away in the next 5 to 10 years. Charles Manson died, yes. I don't know, but he passed away too. Groundhog says, well, got to roll first loads with new company. Have a good one. All right. Good luck to that. Good luck to you, Groundhog. Excuse me. So those of you with new channels, let's talk about you guys for a minute, okay? Let's go back to the history of my channel. When I first started driving, one of the first things I wanted to do was do a channel, and I did. It's my old channel, as I call it, and that's what Julio was referring to. He said he saw me from 7 years ago, and he said I looked a lot different, and that's true. I have gained a lot of weight in the last 7 years. That channel, I believe, only has like 400 something subscribers, something like that. Maybe not even that. Let me look here. While I'm looking, I'll talk about this. So then I decided I was going to do a vlog style channel because that was all the rage. And I noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of content about being an owner-operator or a Landstar owner-operator. And if you guys go, well, you guys won't be able to see, but you know, it's like I have a friend of mine, Russ Maynard. He did his first YouTube video and he held the phone like this, right? Instead of like that. And, you know, my first 2 vlogs were that way. It's a common mistake that we all make for the first time. And I just did what I'm doing now, but just in a recorded form. I would tell you about my day. I'd tell you about what I was dealing with at Landstar, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's how it was. That's how trucking is. It's good, bad, and ugly. You got good days, you got bad days, you got days that you're just like, wow, that's insane. Let's see, type in Snorlord back into New Orleans. That's a good way to find my channel, my old channel. And I even relabeled it, Snorlord's old channel. How many subscribers do I have? By the way, my New Orleans video is awesome because I used Crowbar. I don't even have 400. I have 322 subscribers on that channel. You know why? Because my creative stuff no one cares about. Nobody. And I wasn't consistent with that channel. Gotta run. Have a safe day and happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Sean. You too. Why? Why what, TJ Jones? You're alright to make a hate video for someone that said you look different from 7 years ago. It says, I am small fry. Not. There's no hate here. He, you know, here's the thing. He didn't come up to me and said, dude, you're fat. You know, he didn't do that. He was so afraid of offending me. And he was concerned for my health. He goes, do it for yourself. Do it for your family. You need to lose weight. Because I'm afraid for you. That's what he said. I'm afraid for you. Okay? Oh, okay. Okay, I am small, right? But now, if you go to my channel, now, my current channel, all my creative music videos, my backing one, my 2 GoPro vlogs, they don't get a whole lot of views. The only one that got a lot of views that's not a trucking vlog kind of thing was the one for the Guilty by Association truck show. And that's only because it's been shared by some prominent other YouTubers. So I've got like well over a couple of thousand hits on that video. And it's got a little bit of creativity. During the convoy, I played the song Convoy. It figures, you know, my highest viewed video isn't monetized because I put a copyrighted song on. And then I put some music from a friend of mine on there for the second part of the convoy. But when I first started my channel, I noticed my numbers increasing more and more and more than the other channel. And I'm like, wow, there's something to this vlog thing. And I didn't understand it. It's like, I didn't like watching vlogs where someone was talking to you like I am now for more than 5 or 10 minutes. That was boring to me. I want to see driving. I want to see music. I wanted to see, you know, the other aspects of trucking like PaleriderTV does. But hey, you know, do what works. So then I started developing relationships with other Landstar drivers. I would come into the orientation center there in Indianapolis, and people would recognize me, and we'd have conversations in the class, and I would give them advice on how to approach the low board, on what they were going to go through up here. Not necessarily the logistics of it, but what you were going to go through up here. And I think that's been my focal point, is that we can talk numbers all day long and agree or disagree. We could talk about, you know, stuff like, you know, hooking up to a trailer or doing your pre-trip or, you know, that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of people that are doing that a lot better than I could. So what can I contribute? What kind of content can I contribute to YouTube? Well, how about the mental aspect of being out here? This isn't an easy job. This isn't an easy lifestyle. I have several people in my, what I call my other world, which is all the metal stuff, heavy metal stuff, and that are entering the trucking industry. And I give them advice when they ask for it, but for the most part, I'm helping them prepare mentally. Because you're going to deal with so much BS. And if you're the kind of person that's lived in a bubble in the same town or the same city, you're in for a rude awakening of what the rest of the country is like. America is a very angry place. America is a very non-courteous place. People are miserable. When I first came out here as a truck driver, fuel was like $4 a gallon. Companies were dropping off like flies. The mega carriers were starting to govern their trucks even more. And freight just got stupid. And everybody was miserable. And I'm starting to see that misery come back with the E-log mandate. Everybody's going to be miserable again. So there's a mental aspect of being out here you got to deal with. And so being a lease operator, owner operator, well, multiply that, because you got to deal with the everyday stresses of truck driving, but at the same time, now you're managing a business. Now you're trying to feed your family and feed the truck. Even if you have a paid-off truck, you're still having to juggle a lot of things. So that's kind of where the direction I'm going for. You know, if you're a new Schneider IC, I'll help you out as much as I can on strategies to look for on the low boards and stuff like that. But there's nothing that I could say that's going to be any better than what Jeffrey Lake's done for the last 2 years. And Jeff's live feeds have really taken off on his channel, because now as a Schneider IC, you can go to his channel and ask him, hey, how should I work this area? What did you used to do? And he could tell you. And he's got a way of simplifying things and putting it plain as day. I think he missed his calling as a teacher. I really do. Big Rich says, I'm freezing my breasts off. Well, you're in the wrong part of the country, sir. I've got my APU on. I got the heat on because till that sun pops over this building, it's going to be chilly in my truck. Not as bad as my my Peterbilt was so airy. It's just like I could shut the truck off and I would lose all my heat within an hour. You know, where this truck, man, I can turn it off and have it nice and warm in here and not have to have the AP or anything on for like several hours. Depending on how cold it is. Like 30 and up, not bad, but like if it gets down to 10s, yeah, you know, we're turning things on. But the sun really helps a lot. Airy, making fun of me. Making fun of me, Rich. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It seems to be cold everywhere. Clyde said it was 30 degrees in Georgia there. South Georgia. Here's a reality. November's almost over. Winter is a month away. And yeah, it's going to get cold, people. I don't care where you're at. Unless you're in Miami. Miami or Los Angeles. So anyways, these are the thoughts. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to have a lot of good thoughts or a lot of deep thoughts in the morning. So anyways, the title is referring to, for some reason, I think we were talking about, there was a live feed I did the other night where we were talking about food. And Christian Trucker brought up the point that he was eating yogurt and sardines. And then somehow Pale Rider got to talking about in the chat about Kettle chips and how much he hated them. And that was funny to me because I never knew. See, he just said it again. I hate Kettle chips. I don't know why. I mean, what's so bad about Kettle chips? Pale Rider needs to do a video of why he's denouncing the kettle chip industry. I don't know, maybe he was attacked as a little kid with kettle chips, or maybe a kettle chip shipper did him wrong. You know, he was at a dock for 20 hours, or maybe he was delivering potatoes at one of those potato chip places, and it's one of those where you got to keep the truck hooked up, but they still dump it, so all of his stuff fell back, you know, or maybe he lost all his teeth trying to eat them, but that's why I don't eat them, because, you know, they're hard on the teeth. But I think it's funny. See, these are the kind of things I like to talk about on YouTube. And whatever's going on with SoCal, Truckers Coach, I'm sure Jeff will bring me up to speed when I talk to him. Why, guys? Come on, man. If you want to be an informative channel, be an informative channel. We don't attack people's families. I agree with that. PaleriderTV says Kettle chips are the devil's chips. Oh man, John Cater says, I think the misery and anger will skyrocket after December for drivers. Oh yeah, dude, it's gonna get ugly, John Cater. It's gonna get ugly. Especially since half of them don't know what you should log when you're at the shipper and receiver. That's the problem. We've been using our lack of knowledge of the regulations and covering them up with just paper to make it look good. Trust me, I used to do the same thing back in the day. I know how to run a paper log. And I will admit it was a lot easier. But see, I'm already in the mindset since I've been on e-logs for, 6-7 years, that I've already know how to deal with it. That's why I did that video about when I had to do that run to St. Louis and make sure that I had my 10-hour break. Rick Jones says the Devil's Ship's good one. Trucker Stephen PA, Pale Rider needs to come to Pennsylvania, drink crappy coffee, and eat Kettle chips all in the same day. I don't know, maybe I'm triggering Pale Rider. Maybe there's a childhood memory that we're not savvy to. And that's why he hates Kettle chips so much. Not with all the ELD stuff. Like I said before, December is going to be a good month to be an owner-operator. I agree, Juan. I agree. But Pale Rider brought up a good point in his last video about how he checks his PIN because, mark my words, guys. Listen up. Okay? You want information? Here's some information for you. If you drive as a company or a lease operator for a mega carrier, such as Prime, Schneider, Swift, Crete, any of them, anybody who's involved with the ATA, watch yourself. Check your fifth wheel pin every time you go in and out of that truck. Check your tires to make sure no one's cut the sidewalls. Check yourself and be observant on where you're going, where you're at, because there's a lot of hatred towards anybody who is associated with the ATA. Blue Beacon is getting boycotted by a lot of drivers because they have an association with the ATA. And there was somebody else. I can't remember who it was. And there's a lot of misfocused anger. Like, hey, let's just be mad at the ATA and all the companies involved in it instead of being angry for the right reasons. American Trucking Association one is what the ATA is. They're the anti-OIDA. My Volvo has a locking fifth wheel. Good for you, Ace. My Peterbilt had a I released it from the inside of the cab, similar to like what the yard guys use. And it was nice because you couldn't pull that pin manually. You just can't do it. But I still checked. And it's part of my routine now. Every time I get in the truck, I check pin, cap. That's like my OCD kicking in. I check my pin, check my fuel caps. Check your trailer door seal. Yeah, that should be part of your... Pale Rider says check your trailer door seal also if you stayed at a truck stop. Right. Motor T, those people would suck to be in the military. Rules are rules, just go with them. Right. Well, that goes back to attitude, Motor T. You can either, like Juan says, hey, it's going to be a good time to be an owner-operator come December. And then you got other owner-operators that are like, it's going to be the end of the world. What's the difference, people? Up here. That's what's the difference. That is what is going to help you succeed or fail, is your attitude. If you think the government's out to get you and it's not a free country and this, that, and the other, your perspective is different than someone who comes over from another country where they really are repressed, where you could be killed just for your beliefs. They think that this is the greatest place on earth. It's all perspective. Perspective is reality. And if you can learn to embrace the chaos instead of trying to master it, you're going to do better off. You know, like the guy I talked to at the shipper, he was talking about how owner-operators won't be able to make money. And I said, well, I brought up my friend Jeffrey Like. I said, well, I've got a friend of mine that's an independent, has his own authority, and he's averaging, you know, $3 a mile plus. He's making money, and he's on e-logs. You know, the guy didn't have an argument for that. You know why? Because that didn't fit his perception. That didn't fit what he's got decided on mentally. John Cater says parking situation after December is going to be an all-out war. It's not going to be pretty. I can foresee many fights happening. John Cater, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think the thing that will get worse is the paid parking. I think that will be. I think parking's gonna become more expensive. Look at the TA there in London, Ohio. You know, they took 3/4 of that parking lot and turned it into paid parking, whereas before it was 1/4. It used to be 2 rows. Now it's like 6 rows. But see, Chad Boblitz brought this up. E-logs is going to create an opportunity for someone to make more money, like teams or people doing final mile stuff, where a driver can't make it and he's 20 miles away. He can pay for you to pick up his trailer, deliver that load for him, and bring it back to you. You know, as long as it's cheaper than a tow bill. And then that way you're not late on the load. You get it delivered, and you know maybe charge a couple $100 for a driver to do that, depending on what the mileage is. You know. Here's the thing: when I was at Transland, we would bring loads in, and then the city guys would deliver them. So think about that for an independent. There needs to be a service called a final mile kind of service that could be done like that, so you can get to somewhere and then have somebody else deliver it for you. That was something that Chad was kind of bringing up. See, so he's looking at it like, how can we make money taking advantage of this e-log situation? You know, you got people that think it's the end of the world, and you got people that are like, you know, how can I make money off of this? And you got to fall somewhere in between. Ace says he don't have any more. I wasn't going to question you, Ace, because I thought you were in a Freightliner, but you know. Dean Bayless says perspective is everything. Correct. Motor T, I'm at Chicago 55 and the whole thing is paid. Lots and lots of money here. Motor T, I know exactly where you're at. That place is a crap hole. Actually, they've improved on it though. They made the bathrooms nicer, but that place kind of ticked me off because I had to get a scale ticket, and they don't accept cards. So I had to get some cash out of the ATM, pay an ATM fee just so I could pay cash for a scale ticket. And the place is dirty, man. They have a shop now. Like, I don't think I'd get my oil changed there. But yeah, it's all paid. You know why? Because think about that location of that Chicago 55, Motor T. Where else can he park that close to Chicago? There's not much parking. You know, you got cities like Chicagoland, and you got like Dallas and Fort Worth that are building industrial place after industrial place after industrial place, and there's not any truck stops being built there. And so you got, you know, a lot of the inner city stuff is being brought out to the outer regions of the city, and that's where these warehouse spots are, but still doesn't help the truck parking situation. Motor C says new owner's pretty good, but besides Shower's place is junk. Okay. When did they switch hands, Motor T? Maybe that's why the bathrooms are nicer. But anyways, that's it, guys. This has been open chat. John Cater, I'm not paying to park. Personally, I find that stupid is if they don't make enough money already, at least Lowe's doesn't charge to park. Not yet, John Cater. Let's talk about that, John Cater. I had a run one time to Connecticut. 6 months ago, probably. Okay. I had a run to Connecticut one time. And the timing of when I was going to get there was going to be like, Saturday night, or maybe it was Sunday night. Yeah, it was Sunday night, and I had a Monday morning delivery. And I called the customer, and they said I couldn't spend the night there. So those of you who run the Northeast, especially Connecticut, New Jersey, New York City area, you know that parking is a huge, huge, huge challenge. So I showed up at the TA. I figured TA, but you know, I've been in there before, but I couldn't remember the place until I got, you know, you ever get somewhere and you're like, oh, I remember this place. So that's kind of what happened. I got in there and there was just trucks everywhere. And I was like, oh, but there was like 10 open spots in the paid parking area. I backed into one, went in, paid for it, and I was thankful to have it. The next time I had that run, I did the same thing, but instead of hoping that I could find one, I just went ahead and reserved the parking space. In situations like that, paid parking has its advantages, just like when Jeff uses the paid parking there in Indy. One of the advantages of working for the big evil mega carrier is that we have yards everywhere in these big cities. We have a yard in Atlanta, in Houston, St. Louis, Dallas. Parking in Dallas is not the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of improvised places that you can go to, but for the most part, the truck stops are full and they're dangerous. But you know, I have a secured lot that I could park in within 20 miles of any delivery that I do in Dallas, and that's been kind of nice. Yeah, the sun's right in my eyes. No, that's not gonna happen. We'll just deal with it. Kind of sucks. Here, let's switch over here. Does that help? There we go. That helps. So, but there's been times where I paid the park and I was glad to do it because you have a place to park. So it does have its advantages. Love's doesn't charge for paid parking yet, but I can see a day when they're going to start. Pale Rider says, nice clickbait title, LOL. Now you notice? We've been on here an hour and now you compliment my title there, Pale Rider. I swear, Pale Rider. So, guys, this has been fun as usual. Juan says, screw truck and snowroller, let's build the truck stop. I hear you. I hear you, man. Yeah, here's the solution to some parking. How many times have you gone to like a place that has this big abandoned parking lot, right? And you can't park in there because they got chains up. And these people are just sitting on that property. Wouldn't it be cool if like maybe the government could give them a tax break on that property if they allow truck parking? There's an idea. So, come up with solutions. Some of these bigger cities you can pay to park and they're not truck stops, but they're secure places where you can park your truck. Maybe Warren Buffett will improve pilots, says John Cater. I was at the new pilot, it's a newer pilot, there in Atoka, Oklahoma, Saturday. And you know what? The coffee They did away with all the liquid creamers. They didn't have any of them. And they did away with the canisters of cream and sugar. They're now packets. Now, those of you who put coffee creamer and sugar in your coffee, and you require a lot of it, you know how annoying the packets are. Especially when you're filling up a mug like this, right? So I don't know what their purpose was of doing that. I don't know if that was just because they were out of the other stuff, or that was the new switch that they were going to do. If I was Warren Buffett and I made a huge investment like I did in Pilot, do you think he's actually ever seen the parking lot of one? They probably showed him the nicest, brand newest one if he went and saw one, right? Let's take him to the Pilot there in Morris, Illinois. Let's take him to the Pilot there in what's another crappy one? Ohio. Oh, the one there in Ohio on 70. Was it Chambersburg or something? Take him to one of those stores and see what he thinks of his investment. It's amazing to me the amount of the lack of pride in these establishments. And this brand new Pilot in Atoka, Oklahoma has gone downhill fairly quickly. Parking lot's dirty now. Fuel islands are dirty. And you go inside, it's dirty. Bathrooms aren't clean. And everybody working behind the counter is pissed off. That's bad management right there. Some stores are good, some stores are bad. And that's all in the difference of management. I'll tell you a little story. Story time with Snorlord. I was at the TA in Rockwall. I believe it was Rockwall, Texas. Ponzi's little hangout. And I went in there, and I was hungry, and I wanted coffee. And there was absolutely no food in the deli. And at 7 o'clock Monday morning, there was no coffee at all. Brewed. Nothing. Nada. Okay? There were 3 people working that particular area. One lady had this crappy attitude, griping to the other lady, doing the he said, she said stuff, while one of them was on their cell phone. Meanwhile, the manager is not happy about this situation. So what he does is I'm sitting there, he's like, he comes up and he goes, "Pardon me, sir. I'm sorry. I've got to make coffee, you know. I guess, you know, my employees," you know, he's doing this really loud. "My employees don't want to, you know, don't want to work and don't want to do this, and I've got to do everything myself, and this, that, and the other, da-da-da. You know, I'm sorry that my employees have failed you, blah, blah," you know. And meanwhile, I haven't said a word. It's not like I was in there going, "You don't have coffee," rah, you know, because I understand. You get behind, things happen, I get it. But the attitude that this manager had, I was like, you know, in my head, I didn't want to say it out loud, but in my head, I was like, you don't know how to utilize your authority. You don't know how to get people how to work for you. You don't know how to get people to work for you. You don't know how to get them inspired to do something. Inspired to stay on top of the coffee. Inspired to stay on top of the deli stuff. And the way that you're indirectly yelling out loud about your employees while they're sitting there not taking you seriously, that's the problem. You're a bad manager. It's your lack of management and people skills. That's why there's no coffee. That's why there's no food in the deli. That's why everybody that's in line to buy whatever crap that they need are miserable, because you don't know how to manage your store. But I didn't say that to him. I just kind of just shrugged my shoulders and waited for the coffee to brew. And so that goes back to what I've mentioned before. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That should be standard reading in high school. It should be standard reading if you want to do any kind of sales or retail work, or even non-retail work. If you have any kind of management position, you have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to get them behind you. If you have one manager that says, you need to all do this and this and this, or we're all going to lose our jobs, and you have the iron fist on them, they don't care. But if they really like you as a person, if they think that you are worth it, and you're like, oh man, we heard that our manager's going to lose a job if we don't step it up, and they want to step up and they want to help you, that's how you get people motivated to work. And there's so many businesses that are so big to fail that they don't care about those things. Pilot doesn't care if they piss off all their employees, because they know that 20 people need that, will come in and get that job. That's the way trucking is. Adam Gallagher says, Steve, it is sad, but most won't even read a single book. That's the problem. The problem with this book is that it was written in the 20s, 30s, or 40s. It was written a long time ago. But the principles are still the same. It's not that easy of a read. But I've read it physically, and I've also had it on audiobook. And it takes pride and the willingness to understand people. I've learned a lot about people by truck driving. I learned a lot about myself. Adam says I didn't find it to be a difficult read at all. It was a little bit for me, probably because I'm not used to that style of book. Usually I'm reading like fantasy style, like Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff. You've done the live class. Yeah, I forgot they got live classes too. That should be standard. Adam, do you agree that should be a standard thing? Because if people would just take time to understand each other, this world would be a much better place. I don't have all the answers, people. I really don't. But it's so simple. Ace says he read it a long time ago. That's good. I try to reread it about every 2 or 3 years. But I've learned a lot about myself. You know what I did yesterday? Check this out. Check this out. I'm going to toot my own horn for a second. 6 months ago, I bought my son a new bike. He went from a 20-inch BMX bike. He's a bigger guy now. And we went up to, gave him a 24-inch mountain bike. So he's had this BMX bike sitting on the front porch forever. Unused. Brand new condition, it's just dirty, right? A friend of mine, I would say he's more of an acquaintance from my heavy metal side, gets on Facebook and son that lives with them, his bike got stolen. He uses his bike to get back and forth to work. And he was really upset. Someone stole his bike. And this kid has a good work ethic. And he just, he didn't deserve this. And, it was rare to see a young person his age have such a good work ethic. And then this has to happen to him. So I texted him. I said, dude, I got a bike I'll give you. It's not doing anything. It's in good condition. I'll help this kid out. So this is a guy I've known for 20 years, okay? And at the time that he really knew me, I was an a-hole. I was not the easiest person to get along with. Not that I am now, but I definitely wasn't back then. And he was really, really appreciative of it. And I told him, I said, dude, I'm not the same guy you knew 20 years ago. He was one of those Facebook friends that, you know, we hung out back in the day, and then, you know, life happens, and then, you know, we just kind of keep tabs on each other on Facebook. That's what Facebook is to me, is keeping tabs on people that, you know, I normally wouldn't hang out with. So I gave him this bike, and it was much appreciated. And, you know, and it was kind of a nice gesture for me to sit there and like, okay, this not proves, but see, I know that I was an a-hole back in the day, so I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm trying to be a new person. So here's this bike, dude, because I know it's going to go for a good cause, you know. And he wasn't just like, and he wasn't asking for the bike. He wasn't like, hey, I need help from my friends to give me a bike. You know, I saw it upon myself to say, hey, do you need a bike? I'll help you out, because I got one just sitting here doing nothing. And I knew, you know, it wasn't like, I knew it was just, I know it's not just going to sit on his front porch and do nothing. So that's what happened yesterday. That's what I did yesterday while I was at home. Kevin and Ollie in the house. Good morning to you, sir. Juan says, nice, brother. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Thanks, Juan. John Cater, treating people and talking to people right goes a long way. Exactly, John. You know, the one time that I attacked Coach when he was going, you know, he was talking about how the doom and gloom at Schneider, okay, about how this app was going to ruin the whole program, this kind of thing. That was, I did a video, I did a live video, you know, just like, it just irked me because, you know, if a person claims that they help people, you got to know how to talk to people. And maybe if you knew how to talk to people, you wouldn't have all these little squabbles going on with these other YouTubers and other people in the industry. You got to know how to talk to people if you're going to give people advice. So, you know, that's the whole, that again, that's what the thoughts are this morning. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to get off of here because I've said too much and too little at the same time. We have to learn how to respect each other out here because we're not going to get it from anybody else. If you're a content creator, listen to what your subscribers want. If I had 1,000 people tell me today, Steve, stop talking about your stupid positivity thing, no one wants to hear it, then guess what? I probably won't do it. You know? Rick Jones says, gotta go, have a good turkey day. Thank you, sir. I gotta go too. Not that I have to, but I don't want to be on here for too long. Because I know I at least get 5 thumbs down if I have an hour-long video. I know one YouTuber in particular that hates it when I go live for more than an hour. He's told me himself. That's the other thing. People go out of their way to tell you, you know what? You offended me. Or, I don't like the fact that you've got such and such on your truck, or, you know, that kind of thing. I have to tell the world that I'm upset. I have to tell the world that I'm mad. Internet culture, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me rant. And let's get on this positivity note so Pale Rider doesn't hate Kettle chips as much as he does. So, George Lewis says, that's why I like you, you're positive. I try to be, George. Dude, I was not a very positive person when I was dealing with the stuff I had dealt with on Friday. But what can you do? What can you do, man? This world is going to take a big pile dump on you. How are you going to react to it? That is what your success will come from. If you don't know how to react to the negative stuff that comes at you, and it will come at you, what can you do? If you can't, you can't let people control you. Master the chaos. Master your own destiny. I'm just a stupid low-life truck driver. What do I know? Guys, take it easy.